Welcome to Fearless and Flawed. Today, we're joined by Karen Minsky, the president of Dionis Goat Milk Skincare, a brand that's been woman-founded and woman-run since 1982. We're talking over 40 years, nearly 6,000 retailers, including Ulta and Macy's, 150-plus employees, and a founding story that literally involves a woman walking into a retail chain with a live goat under her arm.
And Karen isn't just running this brand. She's the one who walked in for a job interview, tried the hand cream, and knew instantly she had to be part of it. She's a New York girl at heart, a mum of 3 boys, and someone who will absolutely not take no for an answer. She calls herself a bull in a china shop, and honestly, that energy is exactly what Dionis is where it is today.
She's also just launched her own podcast about women navigating motherhood and business, so she gets what we're all about.
And I'm Serena, and I help bold leaders become the go-to experts in their space.
And I'm Sarah, an email marketing pro here to convert clicks into cash. Together, Serena and I are 2 women in charge, digging into the fearless, the flawed, and the oh-so-fabulous journeys of female founders rewriting the rules.
So let's dive in. Welcome to our show, Karen.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. We heard goat, we heard skincare, and we're like, yes, yes, yes.
What
Tell
a great
us.
combination, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I want to go.
Well, tidbit, you have to have 2 because they travel in packs. But yes, they're great pets.
Can't they play with dogs?
No, they really need each other. So, I mean, my farm dog chases them, but they still like each other.
Oh. Okay, let's get on with the podcast. So, Karen, this brand has one of the best origin stories I've ever heard. Do you want to share that? Should we start there?
Absolutely. So our founder, Kate Crosby, was a goat herder in Virginia, and she had plenty of milk, didn't know what to do with it, and decided that she wanted to just make some bar soap because why waste? She gave it to some friends and family, and they absolutely loved it. And they said, hey, why don't you sell it locally? She did. And of course, that went really well. And Cracker Barrel opened near her. I think it was like when the chain first really kind of got hyped up here in the US. And she took a goat in her truck and drove up to the store and said, hey, I have some bar soap. Can I sell it in this store? And they were like, this is awesome, but you can't come here. You have to go to the corporate office and really meet with the buyers and ask them if they would do it. Without hesitation, got back in her truck, drove to Nashville, Tennessee, and she walked up to the front door, no appointment, with her goat and asked to meet with the buyer. Of course, everybody came outside to greet her because she has a goat. Who says no to that? And the rest is history. And that's kind of like the foundation of honestly who we are and who we've been for so long. Can't take no for an answer.
I mean, that's just a brand story all on its own there. You know, a woman determined to do something, walking in and just owning it.
Absolutely. And honestly, personally, for me, like when I hear the word no, I'm like, oh, you're just challenging me now. And I feel like we have to do that, right? We have to fight our way through.
Absolutely. So, Karen, how did you get involved with this?
So I kind of was in between. My career kind of took like a turn, and the company I was working for was moving. And I have a family, and I did not want to uproot my children. At that time, they were very young. And I said, I need to figure out what I'm doing with my life here. And so I saw this posting for this company. And I looked at the posting and I was like a little confused by it. But in my career, I've done so much that I looked at the description of the job and what they were looking for. And I said, you know what? I can do this in my sleep. I did everything here. And I went in and I had an interview. And at the end, I was like, I don't know. I'm not sure. But they gave me some hand creams. And I was in my car driving and I got to a red light. And I'm like, let me just try this on. I might as well. I'm in the car. And I put the hand cream on. And I don't know. It just sparked something within me. And I said, I need to be a part of this brand because it's like the best kept secret, but like it shouldn't be a secret because it's so wonderful. And the rest is history.
I love that. Like a job interview, here's some hand cream, try. Like that to me is like so, obviously it's for like the goat skincare company, but I feel like as a former esthetician, right? You can tell somebody, oh, look at the ingredients. You can describe them. You can have great packaging. But that moment you just talked about, you put it on and went, "Oh, holy shit, this is kinda nice."
And it was a surprise, right? Because how many times have we put on hand cream, lotion, and we're like, yeah, it's great, whatever. And then we just kind of moved on with our lives. So I'm someone that always have been using creams and lotions. So it's not like I've never used it and it's my first experience. But the difference was really there for me. And I immediately fell in love. And honestly, like it's in my soul. Like when people say to me, oh, you're talking about the brand, like it's part of you because it's like my other kid, this is like my baby. I love it so much just because I think that it's so different. And I'm so focused on really making a difference for people and like what they're putting on their skin. And so for me, I think it's just so important to really, have quality product, right? Like we want to put good stuff on our skin. I don't want to be like wowed by beautiful packaging that does nothing. I want to be wowed by amazing product. And that's what I fell in love with.
Do you know what I took away from that was the fact that you went to a job interview and you were like, "Yeah, whatever, I'm good with this." And, I really like that. There's something about that that's so empowering when you're in that when you feel that.
I know it just totally, I don't know. And it's never happened to me, right? I've had like a really long career. It's not like I was a young kid out of school and this was my first job. I've had so many jobs and my career was going in so many different directions. And to be wowed at that point in my career was just something very special for me. And so I couldn't ignore it.
So had you worked in skincare previously or
No, I worked for a tabletop company and I was dealing with like flatware and glassware and dinnerware, and that was my passion in life at that point, or at least I thought. And then I kind of stumbled onto this and yeah, it changed everything for me.
Like, so walk us through then. Okay, so you start working for them, right? You're like, "Hey, this hand cream is great."
Yeah, so I start working for them and the company is very small at that point. And, I am someone who observes first before I kind of come in. And I was just looking around and I don't know, it was about a month in. And I was like, what is happening here? Like, this is like not really, the company was like run okay, but it was run like it was a really small company. And there were some basic things that we could do that would really just change, the dynamic of the brand and really the journey that we were on. And so I immediately implemented a few things, just honestly like basic things, but things in my experience that I knew were really necessary. When you run a business, you really have to look within. You can't just run it on the surface. You have to really dive into the details and understand like what is happening behind closed doors and in every single area. So I did that for about a month or two. And then when I made these changes, all of a sudden like little things happened that shifted. And then one day I had this bright idea that I wanted to go after, different types of retailers and I just was boldly doing that. So I either called or and this is after like massive rejection. This is not like an easy thing. I called people and they were like, "No, we're not interested in you. You're too small." I'm like, "Really? Give me a shot. Let me just try." No, and so it was rejection, rejection. And I said, I'm not going to go through anybody. I'm just doing this myself. I mean, literally at one of our, like, one of the known retailers here, I went to their corporate offices and I like tried to sneak in to go find the buyer. And I stood, but I think the guy was going to throw me out of the building at one point because I was just standing there for so long. And then I ended up like mailing them like a little gift. And then I was stalking people like on LinkedIn, on email, like just when you say no to me, I'm like, I'm just going to find another angle. I'm not taking no. And that's how I am in my life. If I'm really passionate about something and I know it's the right thing, I just need to get to you just to try to talk to you about it. And then, I'll do everything I can to convince you. But I also did what happened to me. I just sent samples to people because the experience that I had, it wasn't like an inauthentic experience. So I knew that if I just got it in someone's hand, they would just understand.
And what was the pitch? Like when you like were in these offices sending samples, what made this brand different? What was kind of that elevator pitch that you told people? And eventually, I mean, it's in 6,000 retailers, so something resonated.
So the first thing was I said, listen, a cream is a cream is a cream, but not a goat milk cream. And let me just explain that when you're putting on your skin, why you want to nourish your skin and the benefits of goat milk, because there are major benefits and the vitamins and nutrients. We share the same pH. I can go on. And so that was like a quick little thing. But then I also said, hey, I'm very passionate about being a value driven brand. I want to make it approachable for everybody, but it's also probably one of the highest quality brands you will ever put on your skin. And if you just give me the opportunity, just try it. And then I would send them samples and say, I don't even need your answer right now. I'm going to send you samples and I'm going to send it enough for everybody in the office. This was before COVID when people actually worked in an office. Uh, I said, here are all the samples. Take them and use them. I'll be in touch in the next couple of weeks. I'm not even worried about it because I know you're going to call me. And I think they like that confidence, right? Oh my God, this girl thinks that like I'm going to call her, whatever. But I will say that it was about a 50-50 shot. Like sometimes they called me. Sometimes I had to say, hey, how's that sample working out? But everyone said, hands down, everybody loves your brand. And how do we make this work? And it was hard work, right? We weren't like so many people. We were like 3 or 4 people in an office. And so I had to work a lot of nights and a lot of weekends to figure it out. But it worked out. And I'm just so grateful that I guess I was young and hard enough to be able to do all that.
It takes a lot to take rejection. It takes a lot to be ballsy and to step into that space and not be intimidated.
Yeah,
And,
I think it's the passion, right? I think if deep inside you believe in something, it's really hard for at least me for someone to talk me out of it. And so just because I'm so passionate and I know. And then I also try to say, hey, like, for example, like, what does this retailer need? How do I present the brand that makes sense for them also? Because you want to make sure that, everybody is being serviced the way they should be serviced and who they're serving their customer base. But it's just such a fun process for me. That's probably one of the fun things that I do every day. It's probably the hardest, but I enjoy it the most. I almost get like a little high from it at the end of oh my God, this worked. This is great. And every time it's like the first time.
so on our pre-call, you mentioned something that I really like the phrase of, and I think we should bring it into this. Your chemist uses a phrase, "foo-foo dust." Let's talk about that.
So, one of my biggest, I guess I would say, pet peeves, right? I go to the market, I go to any retailer, any store, and I pull out this beautiful packaging with this beautiful product that's claiming all of these amazing, things that it's going to do for my skin. And like everyone else, before I was knowledgeable enough and before I knew more than I do now, I literally would take these things home. I would spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on these things. And nothing would really happen. Things that were promised didn't really happen. And so, what I learned soon enough is that you really just have to put such a minuscule amount of an ingredient into the product, and then you can list it as an ingredient and you can make all these claims about it. And that's what customers are buying. And that really like triggers me in a really negative way because I feel like, first of all, it's misleading. Second of all, if I'm buying something, I'd like to be able to do what it says it's going to do. And so we call it foo-foo dust. And one of our biggest rules are we don't put foo-foo dust in our product. So if it says it's going to do something, it's doing it because we have enough of it in there that we know how much it needs to be in there in order for it to do it. And I'm so like honestly upset for, people who don't know enough about it, because you're spending all of this money and you're buying all of these things and it's just sad to me, right? It's sad.
I am probably one of the biggest victims. I will go to the store. I will look at if there's a choice between two products that sound as though they do the same thing. I go for the highest price because I think it's going to be better.
Right. And that's not always the case. I mean, listen, ours, like I said, ours is approachable price points. And I do that because I want to make sure that it's attainable for everybody, but it doesn't really have to be super expensive. It truly doesn't. It just has to be quality. And then once you kind of get to know your brands and you do a little bit of research, I think you'll discover like who the real partners are.
Yeah, I think most of us, we just blindly go in and buy these things and hope that it's going to make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it looks pretty, right? It looks pretty on the shelf. It looks really premium. The packaging looks amazing. I have to say, there's a lot of talented people in the world, the way they design these things, and it's wonderful. And
I'm It's important for it to look the price.
Yeah, exactly, right? To justify it. And for me, I'm like, how do we simplify the packaging but still be able to deliver the message? And that's one of the and it's hard. It's hard to do that in this world because beauty is a really saturated industry if you think about it. There's so much product out there. There's a lot to choose from.
And most of us don't know what it means.
Right. 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 But we're spending money, right? Trial and error on a regular
I mean,
basis.
what is retinol? What does that do for me? When do I use it? When shouldn't I use it? Should I put on more? Is it less? I have no idea.
I know. I know. It's so hard. It really truly is hard, you know.
So, I mean, coming from tableware, you've obviously had to learn this as in on the job, would you say?
Well, the skill set I had just because I had such a long career, it's just really learning the product and understanding beauty. And I'm someone that is I'm like a self learner. I do better if I'm investigating on my own. I ask a ton of questions. I do my own research and I really try to, just gather as much data as possible to be able to do the job. So it took me a bit to learn. Plus, I had a chemist that was amazing at, being okay to teach me and answer my million questions about why do we do it this way? Why do we do it that way? What like this doesn't make sense to me, or I don't think this looks right. This is, like things were like purple, and I'm like, why is it purple if it's supposed to be goat milk? Like that doesn't make sense to me. Why are we adding color? Like that's not good. So, I like discontinued so many items. People were very upset with me. And I was like, no, we need to get rid of stuff that doesn't make sense and that is not, true to who we are. And so a lot of it is just self-learning and self-discovery, but I'm like that in my life. If I don't know something, I don't shy away from it. I really jump in and try my hardest to figure it out. And then I probably stumble. I make mistakes. It's not perfect. I don't want to make you think that like, oh, Karen is just, she's done it great for so long. No, I've totally stumbled and crashed and burned, but I get up, I'm like, all right, I'm going to try it again.
I love that attitude. And how many, like, as you go through this process, right? So you're working for this company, you realize, wow, I really love this company,
Really, really love the company.
really love the company. And now you own the company?
No, no, I don't own the
What's your
company.
role now? Yes.
So, so I'm the president of the company. It is a family owned. The family is a wonderful family. I actually probably fell in love with them just because they are, the DNA of the company and how they function as a family. I really admire and I really love that. And it feels very natural for me. Like it feels like a family that I want to, I almost consider them like my family when I'm at work. It's not, it's not foreign and so it's wonderful and they're very supportive. They're not involved in the day-to-day business as much, but that's okay because that shows their trust and faith in what I'm doing. And, but they're there to support. So if I need anything, they're always there to support me. And, the funny thing is the reason why they bought the company is because when Kate Crosby wanted to retire and she was like, I'm a goat herder, the wife of the owner was like, we can't let this brand go. It has to stay. We have to buy it. And so they bought it from her just to show again, just the passion that Dionis just brought from the very start to, people that kind of were introduced to it.
It is so rare, like, to hear so you're the president of the company, like, but you speak, and this is the best compliment you can hear is when your passion, it's almost as if you founded it, like, you're so entwined with it, and you speak from such a point of ownership, of, like, not this is this is who I am, this is what I believe in, and that's so beautiful to see these days because I think many times what can happen is like, this is your job, but it feels like your lifestyle. It feels like your beliefs, your ethos, all of that is wrapped into that, which again, I think that empowers the brand. When the person behind the brand is like, oh, no, 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 I actually walk the walk and talk the talk.
Absolutely. And honestly, when I wake up in the morning, I'm not coming to work. This is not my job. I really truly don't think of it that way. Listen, in my career, I've had jobs where I got up and I'm like, oh, gotta go back in today. I never have that day. And if I have to, come in and I mean, listen, sometimes I have to come in and take care of the goats. That happens if somebody calls out or whatever. We have 18 goats on the farm. And so I will come in and take care of them. That happens. I don't mind doing that. they're my goats, I love them. I've named every one of them. So it's like they're my pets.
So what does a day in the life look like for Karen? Because now you've opened the door. What does a day look? You wake up. What's a typical day or a typical week?
Yeah, so I wake up, I get myself together. I, get my son, who's my youngest is 12, so I still get him on the bus in the morning. And then I'm at the farm. The farm is very close to my house, and I did that on purpose. We wanted to make sure the farm was close so I can get here as needed. And I spend the day here. Sometimes I'm out, if it's a stressful day but a beautiful day, I will be out with the goats. Sometimes in the morning I come in and I just play with them. They know who I am, give them little treats, and we play. But then I'm here. And honestly, for me, it's just like leading the team and really just continue to innovate and inspire and try to, deal with issues and concerns that come up. And, our manufacturing facility where we make the product is a half hour away from the farm. We do it ourselves. And so that's also really fun, right? So if you want to jump in and see, hey, how does that new fragrance working out? I can pop in and just look at the factory, our distribution center, our operations team. They're all very close together. I like to kind of pop in and see how everyone's doing, check in. Yeah. And then talk to you guys on a Friday afternoon, on a Friday morning. It's great.
Do you know what's going through my head? I'm wondering how I can tie in goats into my business.
I will say it's a lot of fun. They are very, very
That's
sweet.
exactly where my thoughts went. Right. Conceptive goats. How can I tie this in? I need some goats.
I mean, listen, they definitely make you happy. They're really smart animals. They are absolutely smart. They know their names. They can follow directions. They know exactly when it's time to go to their stall. They know exactly which one is which. You don't even have to redirect them. You just open the door. They know exactly where to go. They're
I
very,
don't
very
feel
smart.
naughty though. I've heard goats are really
Oh,
naughty,
they're like
really.
little toddlers. I mean, so one weekend, I'll tell you a quick story. One weekend I had to take care of the goats, and by mistake, one of the stalls, I didn't close the gate properly. And, they're very strong. And so they'll jump up and they'll do whatnot. And I guess one of them realized that I was a fool and I did not close that door very well. Well, in the morning, not only did she come out, but she opened everyone else's stall doors. How she did that, I don't know. So thankfully everything is locked, so they couldn't like leave the barn. But I walked into a barn that was 18 goats running amok. And it was just like, it was hysterical. It was dirty because they can't control their bowels and whatever, but not potty trained. But I was like, okay, I'll do better. Thank you for teaching me that this was not how you put a goat away at night. So there's some footage because we have like Ring cameras in there to like help us in case, we need to like look in. But yeah, sometimes I look at the camera and I'm like, oh no. And I have to like rush back. So it's fun. It's fun. They're like
So here's
toddlers.
a
I don't
really
yell at.
probably stupid question. Is it your goat milk that you put into your products?
So it used to be, but the brand is so big now that I literally would need to have like 150 goats, not 18 goats. So this is
Well, if
more
you
now.
need anyone to look after them,
Yes, we have somebody that, right. So this is more like right now, like our sanctuary. We rescue goats, and that's kind of like what like the brand has kind of transitioned to. We do source from one specific dairy farm that's federally regulated. We are a cruelty-free brand, and so we are very, very serious about where we get our goat milk. But yeah, we can't. Literally, I would need to quit my day job and go take care of goats full time in order for me to be able to do that. And so, yeah, that's what we're. Goat milk is great though.
Wow. So wait, tell me then okay. Goat milk, key ingredient. You've scaled this. I want to talk about the scaling part because like you are in a ton of stores. Macy's, Ulta, like there are some big names out there, which makes sense why you need a 150 goats, right? How from the business side, because I've bought into the product side, right? I'm like, I get it, all natural, like good for you, organic or all natural ingredients, cruelty free. You've pitched your butt off. People are buying what you're saying. They're like, okay, we're trying it, having the same experience. But 6,000 retailers is a ton of retailers. So how long did that take? Was there a couple of years where you just exploded? Because sometimes in retail, the new hot thing, you get a good media clip, a good PR clip, or how did that happen?
I would say that probably it took about maybe 2 years after I've joined the company to really, I mean, we saw like little bumps, and then 2 years later, we kinda started, seeing like bigger traction, and then believe it or not, COVID hit, and I got really scared, and I said, "Oh my gosh, like, what is gonna happen with this brand?" Because in the US, like, everything closed. And if you were not like I can't remember what they called it, but like an essential business, like if you weren't making sanitizers or soaps. So of course we did make soaps. So we were able to stay open, which was wonderful. And then we make it ourselves. So then we started making sanitizers. But I feel very like personally responsible for every single person that works for me. And so I had a really a responsibility. How do I keep these people working? Because I want to make sure that everyone keeps their job, they keep getting their paychecks, but like I need to make sure that we are moving forward, and we really focused our brand on the online business, and our direct to consumer website is just like it blew up. Everybody like found us because you were forced to do personal self-care at home. You couldn't go out to a spa. You really couldn't go out and get a facial if you wanted to. If you needed something like in your bath time routine or your skincare routine, you had to figure it out on your own. And we used that opportunity to really educate, and people found us online, and we just kind of exploded from there, honestly. And then from there, it kind of made it easy, right? Because now everybody kind of knows your brand a little bit more. And yeah, and really honestly, so for us, COVID was great.
That makes sense. I mean, I think sometimes, people forget for certain businesses, right? COVID, you made soap, right? Like self-care. I remember those self-care at home nights with I buy the little booties, the little, disposable little gloves, you take some cucumbers over your eyes. I mean, it was a real thing more so than probably before because there was so much anxiety and angst and terror going on. So I hear what you're saying. For you, you kind of took this period that would have otherwise, yeah, a very negative, horrible period. And you said, okay, how do we keep people working? How do we keep our products front and center? And so you found that traffic to the website increased. And then from there, you kind of leveraged that to get into more retailers after, like, hey, we have X. Okay, makes
Yeah,
sense.
exactly, and it just kinda made it easy because they also kinda knew about us, right? Because I think at that point, buyers were also struggling 'cause their dot-com businesses could continue, but their retail stores were closed, and so they also had to figure out what to do, and, I'll tell you a quick story about Ulta Beauty. So we were at Ulta Beauty at that time, and Ulta Beauty closed all their stores. They couldn't be open, they weren't an essential business, but their online business was still fine. But they had sent their brands in a letter that basically said, "Because of what's going on, we're not going to guarantee that we're going to be able to order anymore," because they didn't know, right? What were people really going to buy? And so we will let you know if we end up buying from you again. We ended up being like one of the handful of brands that were actually sold out on Ulta.com. And we ended up increasing our business so much during COVID with them because people just loved our brand. They found it. And at that point, I mean, listen, a lot of people were furloughed. They weren't working. They were really being conscious of the price that they were paying for their products. And I think that also helped, right? They were like, you know what? I'm going to try this goat milk. I can afford it. It's not like crazy amount of money. And then they realized, wait, this brand is actually really good. We love the product. And so, we had major success at Ulta. Right after that, when the doors opened, they put us in all stores. So that's kind of was like our first big, exciting venture. Being in all Ulta Beauty doors was a huge, huge celebration for the brand. And then it kind of just all domino effect from there.
But realistically, that could have gone the other way.
Totally,
And
totally.
and I think that as business owners, that's something that we need to be aware of, that when we rely on one particular distributor to or client as like our primary business funnel, then then that could have been like a huge issue for you. It could
I
have
mean, listen, I'll tell you a little secret. During the COVID, when it first started, I literally started that's when I learned about panic attacks because I literally started having them because I didn't know what was gonna happen. And I got really, really scared because this is my company and these are my people that work for me and I hired them in good faith and I'm responsible for them and their families. It's not just me, right? I mean, yes, I have me and my family, and I've obviously I care about that, but what am I going to do with all these people? And so I literally like that's when I learned what a panic attack was. And so when things started going, in a better direction, I was like, okay, I'm able to like breathe a little bit because I do feel very, very like personally responsible for every single person.
I mean, absolutely. As a business owner, I am very guilty of putting guilty, not guilty, I don't know how you want to put it, of putting them first, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of responsibility, right? A lot of these people, that come work for you in good faith, they are they have families and they have things that they need to do. Everybody has their own story, right? And so I try to be sensitive to that as much as I can, and I really try to keep them in my mind when we make decisions. And
How many people are we talking, Karen? When you say people, are we talking, we had mentioned before 150 in the intro, but is it still 150? Has it grown? Is it less?
no, I mean, so it's 150, but like across like the manufacturing as well as the distribution. But like in our like everyday work, we're like 22 people. So between the distribution center and the office people, it's like 22 people total. And I know it doesn't feel like a lot, but it's every person is a person, right? And then the factory workers, thank God we were able to keep them going because we had the hand soap, we had the sanitizer. And so that was easy. But like, what do you do with everybody else? And so and at that time, we didn't even know how to work from home. I mean, a lot of companies didn't. So there was a lot of learning, but thankfully, things worked out. Again, I hate to say by luck because I did like lose sleep thinking about these things, but slightly by luck, right? I mean, I got to the right person at the right time, and so that, and obviously the product spoke for itself once I did that. But I'm very grateful, truly, truly grateful.
Let's touch a little bit for us people that aren't in the skincare industry. Let's talk about goat milk. What is it about goat milk that makes it so good in skincare?
So, the number one benefit of goat milk, and I don't know if you know this, but we share the same pH as goats. So, what that means is, as humans, when we put on a lotion, if you've ever put it on and it's like greasy, or you're like, I need to wipe this off, it's making marks on my computer, my phone, whatever, that is not a compatible lotion with your skin. And so, goat milk is not like that because we share the same pH. You'll never have the greasy residue. You'll never feel like you have something foreign on your hands, and it's also loaded with vitamins and nutrients. And so you're nourishing your skin in addition to adding moisture and hydration. It's a great antioxidant for your skin. It's just so many like wonderful benefits. Is high proteins, high fats, but they're all like healthy fats, and it's just such a unique ingredient that really makes a difference. And just like the way your overall skin looks every single day.
I love that, Karen. Like I said, as a lover of skincare, there's something so beautiful when like the ingredient is it's so simple in nature, right? I mean, you walk into an Ulta, you walk into a Sephora. I don't know about you ladies, but any love I have of skincare, which I do, it quickly fades away once I enter into a store and there's a million options and there's 50 employees and everyone's like, you want it's like too many choices, too many bright lights, too many flashy splashes of packaging because the esthetician in me is always like, what works? I want that. I don't care about anything else. And so knowing that goat milk does have these proven properties and these benefits, I guess, I'm wondering how do you stay afloat in the ever-changing skincare industry where the new mushroom from Asia is the hottest ingredient and the peptide that can do X, Y, and Z. How do you keep goat milk cool and relevant?
Goat milk it's literally rooted in nature. It's not something that I'm adding. It's not like a formula that was made in the lab that I'm creating. And so I think if you just keep because fads and trends, they keep going and they keep changing, right? Today, everybody's into X. Tomorrow, they're going to be into Y. But goat milk is sustainable. That won't change. And now I think a lot of people also, a lot of the articles and things that I'm reading, which is interesting to me. A lot of people who suffer from like lactose intolerant, people who really just don't do well with, cow milk, they're finding goat milk as just an added benefit. And so I think people are also learning a lot more. I think giving people credit, they're self-educating and they're saying, wait, this is like a natural way for me to get all of these benefits versus someone making it in a lab and telling me a story. This is actually something that's founded that I can research, that's reputable, that I can actually say, you know what, there's goat milk in here. I know what goat milk does. To your point, how much retinol did they put in? How much, whatever the foo-foo dust was. But in this case, goat milk is goat milk. Can't change that. right? The benefit is there. And it doesn't matter if it's a drop or if it's a gallon, you are getting the benefit of the goat milk. And so I think that is really also important to remember that, it's a naturally derived ingredient.
Totally agree. Totally, totally agree. And I, again, love that there's a conviction in, like, I asked that question because sometimes it's easy to, to kind of run circles around something versus like, it is what it is. You like it? Great. Not? Okay, cool too. But like, I appreciate the authenticity and it has benefits. We know it does. It feels great. Done. That is incredibly refreshing in a world where with beauty, there's always something new to add. And it's like, no, no. Stick with what works. New sometimes can just denote flashy packaging. So with that thoughts, you seem like a lady who through your journey, you're always ready for a challenge, okay? You don't take no for an answer. You pivoted during COVID. Karen, you're going to knock this out of the park. We ask every single podcast, we ask a previous guest to ask our current guests a question. And so our previous guest was actually, she had a hair care company. It was a shampoo, actually very eco-friendly, very sustainable shampoo and conditioning bars, as opposed to, to like lotions and creams. Serena, can you pull up her question? Because it was so out there in the best way possible, because you naturally think someone's going to ask about whatever they focus on, but not her. No, no.
And for a change, I've actually prepared this and I actually know where it is. As opposed to me going, oh God, I can't believe Sarah's asked me. I'm going to go and find it.
I know you have it in front of you. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm like, let me pass the ball to Serena.
Okay, Karen. So our last guest asked, what music do you listen to when you're going through it with your business? As like, when you're struggling with your business, what music kind of peps you up? What band, what genre, and what are you listening to?
Wow, that is a really great question. And it's probably going to be like the dorkiest answer, and it'll definitely age me. But I love to listen to like 1980s, but I'm also just a combination of any type of genre. Like I do a mix on my Spotify of like whatever, like just 1980 hits and like whatever kind of comes my way. And I love to just have it in my background when thinking about something or if I'm working on something. It just kind of gives me, I don't know if it's just like settles me. And I also love to do that in the car when I'm driving. That's when I think about all of my crazy ideas for the day. That's when when I'm always like coming up with my harebrained ideas. And so, yeah, that's 1980s. Oh, I like that question.
I think we need some artist names here
Yeah,
and
I'm thinking
artist names.
Madonna,
Oh my gosh,
Prince.
you are really
Tune.
challenging me. Like Bryan Adams.
Oh, snap it out for
Adams.
Brian.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm trying to think of more. I mean, right now, all I'm like, and honestly, right now, like and it's not from the 80s, but right now I'm like literally focused on Adele because she's my person. Like, I love her so much. But I feel like it's also like a mood thing. But I'm trying to think of who else from the 80s.
Are you, I think of Madonna.
Madonna is great. Yeah.
Is it like Madonna, Prince? Is it
Elton
like
John. I love,
Oh
Billy,
my
right? Billy Joel. I love Billy Joel.
What about Wake Me Up Before You Go Go? Don't wanna hang there. What was that? What was that singer's name again?
Wham.
Wham, yeah.
Yes.
It is Wham, yeah.
Who's the lead singer?
Michael.
No.
George Michael?
George
Wow.
Michaels.
I'm thinking, boy, George.
I cannot
George
believe,
Michael.
Serena, you could be on a trivia game.
She's good. She's good. I love that though, Karen. That is like, first of all, when you said this is going to age me, I'm going to be very honest. I was like, oh, maybe she listens to like something from the early 1900s. Like, I don't know. Like when you said age, I'm like, oh, maybe she's going to say like 1940s, like the beginning of, I don't know, because I'm a Motown lover, right? So like Motown is dated a bit. But when you said the 1980s, I was like, girl, that's like today's music. But then I realized maybe I'm aging myself by
I
thinking
know. I mean,
that.
I'll tell you, my boys, like, I have two 21-year-olds, and they're like, what are you listening to? And I'm like, oh my God, I officially became old where I used to ask my parents, what are you listening to? And now I'm that person. But I love it. It just gives me peace. And I don't know. It's just like this comfort thing that stays with me. So I love it.
Can I just do a little name drop here? My daughter has done quite. Both my children like did a lot of stage work when they were younger, and my daughter has actually performed for Elton John. She hasn't seen Elton John perform, but Elton John has seen her perform. That's so cool.
Sir Elton John. Sir Elton John.
And it's literally every time she's seen me perform. He's such the big performer.
He is. He is. I loved it. I watched him in concert. He was great. I loved it. Highly recommend.
And he's retired, right? Because he did like his final.
He did a final tour. That's the one that I was on, but I feel like he's constantly coming up with these remixes now, which is genius on his part. But
listen, life is expensive. Whenever someone goes into retirement and then 3 years later, they're like, I have to pay the bills. I'm back out. I'm like, I get it. But at the same time, you told us it was the end. So for our next guest, Karen, you have no idea who they are, what they work in, what their story is. What would you like to ask that lovely, future, fabulous woman?
Okay, so I'm going to ask, if you were gifted a goat, what would you name your goat?
That's Serena, what would you name your goat?
Well, you see, I had a few good names earlier, and now they've all gone.
Oh, would you do something cute, or would you make it like I feel like there's two ways to go with it. You can either do something really cute and quirky like Kiki, or like something that the alliteration, or you can go super formal like Sir Thomas Martin III.
Well, okay, see, I love ridiculous names for pets. I really do. My latest kitten is called, hang on, what's my latest kitten called? Lucifer. Lucifer when she's naughty.
And otherwise it's just Lucy for
Lucy when she's good.
I love that. That is a great question, though. I think that will show if someone's playful, if someone's like a little bit more serious.
Yeah,
I love that.
Every time I take a pet to the vets, I get, that's an unusual name. Where did that come from?
Karen, I'll let you in on a little secret. Serena used to foster. Did you foster or did you rehabilitate?
Rescue. Are we talking about pigeon?
We're talking about the pet pigeons. We're talking about the pet pigeon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
tell her the story.
A baby pigeon.
How do you rescue a pigeon? I must ask that.
Well, it was a tiny little baby. It had no mummy, so it needed to be looked after, fed, and kept warm. So we did.
How did you get, like, were they easy to catch? I don't even know. I don't understand.
You're exactly where you need to be, Karen. None of us understood. None of us.
But it's so lovely. It's so lovely. One who rescues goats. I appreciate that you rescue.
I will personally rescue anything if it's got more than 2 legs, under 8, under 6, under 6 legs, preferably 2.
Okay, good to know. I'll call you if my barn gets over.
I would take them. And the worst thing is, so would my husband and my kids.
Wow.
There's nobody here that says no. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you guys are in trouble.
So yeah, we've rescued pigeons, and we've literally been on podcasts, and I've had a pigeon. We haven't seen her for a very long time. I'm very sad about this. She stopped coming back, but we released her, and she used to
come back.
Oh yeah, all the time.
She flew in the camera one time. She just flew in behind. I go, oh my God, Serena, is everything okay? It's fine.
My hair. I have a fake background, and you just saw my hair flick because she didn't activate the background, and it was my pet. It was my pigeon.
Amazing! Oh my gosh!
And honestly, such cool animals. Like, I mean, they're super smart, despite flying rat or all the other names people call them. But you could go outside and call her, and she would come down and just come and land on your shoulder and stuff. She would know her name. You would. If you called her and you could see her on the roof, she would look at you and yeah.
Karen, you thought you were coming on to talk about goat skincare. Now you find yourself, yeah, right. I'm reading your facial expressions, which were the same exact expressions the first time I found out about the pet pigeon. And I was like, I'm intrigued, but I got questions. Right, but I'm intrigued. But
I'm
this is
totally
cool.
intriguing.
Yes.
Probably could do a whole
Yes.
podcast episode about this pigeon, by the way.
100%.
Honestly, we have rescued and looked after so many animals here.
That's wonderful, though.
It's actually my one of my favorite things.
I
Oh,
love
that's
that.
really
I love
wonderful.
that. And
Well, if
Karen,
you're
if
ever in the area, you can come and see our sanctuary and
Oh
our
gosh, yes.
goats. You're welcome to come and play.
I wanted to ask you, Karen, do you guys do with the goats? I know this was very popular years ago because I attended a class that was featuring this goat yoga.
We have done goat yoga, yes, with our baby goats, but yes, we have done goat yoga. And you wanna hear a little secret about goat yoga? The goats really don't, like, jump on you, like, they do, but, like, you have to entice them with, like, snacks and so forth. They're not really gonna just jump on you if you're, like, on a downward facing dog position, that's not happening. But no, goats are just interested in food, they're grazers, so they will just we did it out in the grass, they're great for your yard. They like to eat wheat, stuff like that, but yeah, but we did it a few times, and then sometimes we've had, like, really big goats just to kind of, like, walk around, and it's just funny. They'll just walk and they'll just knock you out, and they're 120 pounds. And they're like, "Oh, sorry, I'm trying to get to the suite over here and you're in my way," so they just push you.
Oh my God. Well, I love the idea that, besides the skincare whole line, you have this sanctuary. And the sanctuary is located where?
In Bucks County, Pennsylvania, it's right outside of Philadelphia.
Bucks County, Pennsylvania. And for our listeners who are like, listen, I can't visit the sanctuary, but I'm into this whole concept. I love the origin story, how it's been built, how Karen is telling us about goat milk. I want pH. I feel like a chemist now that I understand this. How can people find you? Do you prefer they go to the retailers? Can they shop online? If so, what's the website? Drop the deets.
Yeah, I mean, all of the above. So I would definitely say the best starting point is our website. It's dionisgmskincare.com. And then we have a store locator on there. So if you are interested in finding a store near you, that's the best way to do it from there. We're also on Amazon. And so depending on what your preference is for shopping, we offer both. And yeah, and also at a retailer, hopefully near you. But yeah, it's definitely accessible. And I'm excited for everyone to try it. I think you'll definitely feel the difference.
Amazing. Amazing. And Serena, you were asking about the podcast?
I was. I mean, obviously, our listeners are very loyal to us. But, I mean, we only release every other week. So on their spare week, what's your podcast?
It's called From the Goat Up. And it's about, being a woman in business because, we carry so much guilt as mothers. I dedicated a lot of my time to my job and to my everyday and to my goats. And I still have a family and 3 boys. And I think as women, we carry a lot of guilt because we try to do everything and do it well. And so it's just a space to be able to just talk, about to inspirational women, who are making amazing differences in their lives or in the world or in their businesses and just kind of talking and just honestly finding women who are apprehensive about taking that leap and that chance because of that guilt and hopefully giving them some motivation to say, hey, you can do it. Anybody can do it. And then once they're greatly successful, then they can come on your podcast.
We'll have them at any stage. I mean,
Right.
honestly.
Any.
All
Come
about
as you
Too,
are.
right? Us too, yeah. Us too. But yeah, it's just a place to talk, right? I think women, we need to band together, right? And I've so enjoyed talking to you guys. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for today.
Yes, this has been great. Thank you for sharing your story. We are totally, I know I am like, yes, goat milk is the answer because you already know I'm going to do my little research. Like, what's the research saying? This is good, but this is very exciting. I think it's always nice to see females in business, but females in successful businesses, even better.
I'm actually right now looking at amazon.co.uk, being in London, and hoping that you sell on the UK Amazon site.
We should be able to let me know. Let me know if you have a problem, but we should.
Wonderful. Karen, we will certainly be in touch. We want to know updates. We want to hear about the new cool things and creams and potions and lotions that will be dropping. But until then, thank you for sharing your story. And this has been awesome. You found it, Serena? You got it?
Found it.
Found it. Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen. We will be in touch. Thank you.
Alrighty. Bye.